everybody, it's Carl Brown from GuitarLessons365.com, and today we're going to continue our hybrid picking pattern lessons. This is part 3, and in this lesson we're going to make it just a little bit more difficult, and we're going to kind of amp up the difficulty level here by adding 3 new things. 1, we're going to start using our pinky on our right hand, which is always a little bit awkward in the beginning. 2, instead of everything being in 8th note triplets, we're going to play in 16th notes. So it's a little 4-note groupings. It's going to be a little bit quicker. And lastly, the patterns, instead of always ascending or descending only, are going to start incorporating a change of direction in the middle of the pattern. So please download the PDF for this part 3 lesson. You can find the link to the PDF that you can download for free in the lesson description. And we'll have 8 exercises here. Now let's go through them. Exercise number 1. It's still going to be based on the same C major, G7 chords that we've been doing on all of these patterns. And the first pattern is you're going to pick a downstroke on the 5th string, middle finger on the 2nd string, ring finger on the 1st string, back down to the 2nd string, so we're changing going back descending to the 2nd string. So do that pattern. It's a 4-note pattern. And what we're basically going to do is just take the pick and pick different bass notes. So we have these 4 bass notes, and we're going to, the rest of the pattern is going to stay the same. So we have the downstroke on the 5th string first, then on the 4th string, then on the 3rd, and then back to the 5th. Then you can do the exact same picking pattern, just switch to a G7. And just repeat. You want to repeat these a lot. Repetition is how you, without pausing, just completely get it together, repeating constantly. That's how you really get the feel for it. Start slow and slowly start ramping up the speed. Exercise number 2 is the opposite version of that. We still start with a downstroke on the 5th, but we pick the ring finger on the 1st string first, then the second finger on the middle finger on the 2nd string, then back to the ring finger on the 1st. So that's our new 4-note pattern. And we do the same treatment to it by moving the bass notes around. Really keeps that finger independence while you're moving that pick around to still keep those 2 fingers on that string doing that pattern. All right, now we have exercise number 3. This is where we start to incorporate the pinky. This is always a little bit awkward because it's such a shorter finger and it's got a kind of a weird to grab the string, but you'll get used to it. The pattern is going to be obviously based on a C major, downstroke on the 5th, middle finger on the 3rd string, then ring finger on the 2nd, then back to the middle finger on the 3rd. So we have, so that's the first half of the pattern. Then we're going to reach, our pick is going to hit the down stroke of the 4th string while our pinky gets the 1st string. You're going to hit those 2 at the same time. Try to use the same technique that you do with the other fingers with the pinky. And then we're going to continue with the same pattern before, the 3rd string, middle finger, 2nd string, ring finger, back to the 3rd string, middle finger. So all 4 is 8 notes total. And then just change to the G7. All right, this is the exercise 4 is kind of the opposite version of that, just like 1 and 2 were. We still start with a C, then the downstroke on the 5th, but the ring finger is going to be on the 2nd string first, then the 3rd string, middle finger, and then back to the ring finger on the 2nd string. All right, and the next 4 notes is those same, the 4th string and the pinky, at the same time, and then the continuation of the pattern we just did. So we have, and just repeat that. Now I threw something at the end of exercise 4 on the paper is just holding the full G, so make sure you have this third finger on the 3rd fret, 6th string, come down, just to break it up a bit and get used to moving that hand around to different string sets. Downstroke on the 6th, middle finger on the 4th, ring finger on the 3rd, back to middle finger on the 4th, and that continued the ending of the pattern like we did before in the first measure. So the only break in the whole pattern was that the 3rd beat in the 2nd measure of exercise 4. So we have, all right. Exercise number 5 now, we're still using the pinky, but we're going to do some string skipping here. Downstroke on the 5th, middle finger on the 3rd string, then pinky on the 1st string, back to the middle finger on the 3rd. And then we're going to go, the second group of 4 notes of the pattern, the second half of the pattern is downstroke on the 4th string, middle finger on the 3rd, and ring finger on the 2nd string, and then back to the 3rd string middle finger. So we have, and then the other pattern. So it's going to incorporate all fingers. So some of these patterns are a little bit longer. All right, now we basically have the descending, well, not really, kind of, exercise 6 is going to be a downstroke on the 5th, pinky on the 1st string, middle finger, 3rd string, and then to the 2nd string with your ring finger. So that's a good change of direction there. And then we're going to continue that pattern the entire time, but just moving the bass note. So you pick, the first time you pick it, you start, this is just a 4-note pattern. And then the next time you pick the pattern, you're going to start the downstroke on the 4th string instead. Continue the same pattern, then go back to the 5th, and then back to the 4th. And do the same thing, but on a G7. I did go down to that, on the 3rd beat, down to the 6th string on that G7. But the only thing changing is the bass notes, so the pattern stays the same. All right, now we have a purely ascending pattern in exercise 7 that goes just using all the fingers going straight up. So we got a downstroke on the 5th, middle finger on the 3rd string, ring finger on the 2nd, pinky on the 1st. Then take the pick over to the 4th string and do the same thing. Back to the 5th, and back to the 4th. Then when we switch to G7, I'm going to kind of do the thing like I did in the previous exercise. Start with the 5th string, then the 4th, then come all the way down to the 6th, back to the 5th. So it's just once again, it's just a bass note is changing with the pick string. But this pattern, the last 3 notes are always the same in every pattern. And exercise 8 is going to be the reverse of that, starting with a downstroke on the 5th string, upstroke, and then a pinky on the 1st, middle finger on the, ring finger on the 2nd string, and then middle finger on the 3rd string. So we're going to continue that pattern, but once again, changing around the bass notes. G7, 4th string, 6th string, 5th. All right, so try to get a handle on these. They're kind of awkward in the beginning, especially when you're incorporating that pinky. But take them and do them with the other exercise we have. So now we have 3 parts to this hybrid picking pattern workout that we've done. All right, and so just go through all of them, repeating each one of them for maybe 30 seconds to a minute or whatever. Try to be consistent and clean, and then go straight into the next exercise. all right, and repeat that one for a while. All right, so please go to guitarlessons365.com, support the site any way you can. Let me know what you want to see, lessons-wise, song-wise, whatever, and I will talk to you guys soon. All right, have fun. Bye-bye.